Number 1. Vixx's Ravi made lewd lyrical reference to Red Velvet. Recently, Ravi has come under fire for his B-side track Red Velvet for the latest album Roses. And there wouldn't be much to say if he hadn't brought this song onto an interview and claimed that the song was about a red velvet cake instead of the namesake girl group. However, considering the heated situation right now, you can tell that Red Velvet didn't buy his words. And in fact, they even said that the song's sensual lyrics could also be perceived as harassment. While at first, it was unclear if the song was directed at the girl group, Ravi's confirmation of the same only seemed to add fuel to the fire and caused a huge uproar among Red Velvet's fans. In an interview with Sports Today, Ravi confirmed that the lyrical references to Red Velvet were intentional, but he didn't imply any negative connotations underneath. Specifically, he said, "The song is a story of a red velvet cake, and as this type of cake is the symbol of warmth and sweetness, I've borrowed a few topics inspired by Red Velvet for some lighthearted fun." Ravi began Red Velvet with the line, "I take a bite out of red velvet, 'cause I know you love me." But on the other hand, quickly proceeded to make multiple clear references to the girl group, giving the song a completely different note. Following that line was the rapping, "Dum, dum 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 dum," which is another pass at Red Velvet's hit back in 2015, and two Korean terms, Suyoung Hanun and Yeri Hagain, which in the context of the song were understood as swimming and sharp, but obviously referred to Red Velvet's Joy and Yeri when looking at them separately like this. While the references to Red Velvet don't appear to be problematic by themselves, fans noted that the sexual metaphors and undertones were apparent when being directed at someone who didn't consent to be in the song. Many even pointed out that the lyrics in the chorus appear to be quite lewd, and in case you're not Korean, this is the rough translation of the chorus to English. "Drip, it's dangerous. Push that hat down for me. Flip, babe. Turn around and show me your back, babe. You and I shouldn't be in the same room by ourselves. I got no place else to go. Round and round we go. Dum dum dum, dum dum dum." However, when the interviewer asked Ravi if he had a close-knit relationship with Red Velvet, implicitly asking whether he was close enough with them to make such clear references, Ravi said that he didn't know them that well. Of course, this also got on the nerves of Red Velvet, because it's so ironic to act like he was a stranger despite having collaborated with Yeri and even following her on Instagram. Though it was unclear if Ravi and Yeri had any problems, but after the incident exploded, netizens also found out that he had already unfollowed Yeri's account. So did things just stop there? Like the way Sunny disrespected Irene, then walked away without apologies? As you can see, no, and definitely never on this earth would Revelevs leave Ravi alone. On June 4th, Ravi issued a public apology for the controversial track, and said he never expected his lyrics to make anyone uncomfortable, but acknowledged that he had failed to consider other people's feelings during the writing process. In the post, he said, "I want to sincerely apologize to the members of Red Velvet who were mentioned in the lyrics, and to the staff from SM Entertainment," and later added, "I thought a lot about how I should take responsibility for this, and today, I personally called SM Entertainment to apologize to the Red Velvet members and the company." However, combining the facts that Ravi only apologized when things were already screwed up, he didn't ask any members for their consent when making such lewd references, and even said he barely knew any of them. The reactions towards his apology were full of anger. A fan said that he was pretty much being a hypocrite when acting like he didn't know how dark the lyrics were, when spending all that time writing and recording the song. Number 2. Kangum's being aggressive to Nine Muses Kyungri. A few months after his split up with UEE in 2017, Kangum went under another fire for using violent words to speak to Kyungri. The two have been known to be close friends after appearing on SBS's Law of the Jungle, and have continued to show off their friendship through a variety show where they worked part-time jobs in Italy. However, in an episode, Kangum's jokes have faced backlash from netizens as he joked, "I could beat her up to death if you told me to," in response to a question that suggested a love line between the two. After appearing to be a bit shook, Kyungri told Kangum not to underestimate her by saying, "Do you really think that little of me?" And he just passed over the incident with a laugh. Later on in the episode, when Kyungri said that she had not saved Kangum's number in her phone yet, and guess what? He brought up that aggressive attitude in violent language again. "I'm going to hit you someday back in Korea." As it was the second time that he did that, Kyungri replied with a bit of discomfort and asked, "Were you a guy that hits girls?" Or he just brazenly said in return, "Nowadays, you shouldn't discriminate between men and women." Can you believe how his mindset about gender equality works? Maybe he was just joking, but who would say that with a straight face that men can hit women, just with the excuse that women nowadays were striving to be deemed equal to men? Except for nonsensical people, no man with manners would say that. Because Kingdom is an idol whose attitude will be followed by many fans, he immediately faced a wave of criticism for the aggressive, inappropriate language. What's even worse was that the production staff was also caught up in this hot mess for not editing these parts out when airing the episode. Besides comments dictating his rude jokes, there were also netizens wondering how Kyungri could be friends with such an aggressive guy friend, and assumed this was the reason UEE broke up with Kangam. The funny thing was that it wasn't until Kangam got into another controversy with a TV personality, Sam Okieri on My Ugly Duckling, that he decided to send an apology to Kyungri. On October 24th, 2017, he went to his personal Instagram and sent his sorry to two fellows, saying, "I want to express my sincerest apology to Kyungri and Sam once again. And I apologize to and am grateful for the viewers who have taken me to task for what I have done wrong and taught me better." He explained that the controversial remarks were his attempts at humor on the broadcasts, but he realized that he crossed a line in going for a laugh. Kangam added that he was not very confident that he could write in Korean well enough to convey his apology with clear sincerity, but he is writing it anyway with the help of a staff member. Number 3. Suju's Kyu-hyun throwing invasive questions at Guhara. In 2013, when Guhara and Kang appeared on Radio Star, she was slapped with many invasive questions and ended up crying for being unable to take it anymore. Right from the outset, the program got off to a fiery start, calling Guhara the blue chip of the idol rumor world, and even crossed the line by referring to her as the relationship idol. Even when Hara appeared to be super nervous after that rude introduction, Kyu-hyun wasn't even fazed and went on by asking what she thought about that relationship idol title. When she tried to shove it off by saying, "To be honest, I don't really know," Park Jin-young was immediately told to provide her with hope and courage. Following that initial banter, and the show continued on with Park Jin-young, things eventually moved back to Guhara's relationship. After the MC started off by saying that Guhara was scared about appearing on Radio Star, and there was often just one typical type of person that is fearful of this program, Kyu-hyun excitedly looked at Hara and told her, "A guilty conscience needs no accuser," implicitly saying that Guhara must have done something wrong and she was thus afraid of being exposed. Despite Guhara's uneasy attitude, Kyu-hyun still continued to call her by the relationship idol title, and only stopped when she angrily responded with a no, and threw a water bottle toward his direction. As the last resort to plead with people to stop bringing up her private life, Kara told about how Kyu-hyun came to their waiting room to greet them, and how she personally asked him to go a little easy on them when it came to their personal issues. However, as you can tell at this point, that promise clearly went straight out the window the moment the cameras rolled. And can you guess what Kyu-hyun's response was? He threw out a massive curveball, saying that he could finish off Guhara if he opened his mouth. Which eventually made Guhangra angrily get up to state that he too can't hold his head up high, and ended up tearing up before actually crying for real. Ironically, it was not until that point that Kyu-hyun started to be caring, and tried to defuse the issue by saying he was just joking the whole time. You know what's the worst part of this episode? It was that Kyu-hyun never publicly apologized to Guhara for being invasive and literally humiliating her on a famous TV show. So, of the three situations, which one do you find that the idol should have received a heavier punishment for their ill behavior towards female fellows? Comment down below to share your thoughts with us. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV, since we'll be back with more interesting content. Thank you for watching.